Good morning, everybody. DommyGun Rici here. Who banging sports talk? It's another Saturday. We're starting week 11, 17th show. I missed a couple Thursday shows. I try to do two a week, but these Thursdays have been a little bit tough. I think I'm going to just let them go for the month of August, with summertime. So we'll just do these Saturday shows, and then once we get to September, we'll be back to two times a week. Maybe I'll even add another one. That is going to be listen, August is shaping up already to be a fun month in Major League Baseball, and I do believe it's going to be a really good one in September. Listen, except for the Braves, there is no other runaway team. Yes, Texas is good. Yes, the Dodgers are coming on. There's a couple teams. The Astros are always there in the end. But right now, the only team I could say with certainty that's going to be in the postseason 100%, and I don't know. I don't see an NL team even close to them right now. But let's just say not beating them. I don't want to go too far and say close, but it's getting to be that way, and that's the Braves. Yesterday just proves it again. The Braves and the Cubs they were probably the hottest teams over the last. I think it was 60 days that they've been the hottest teams in the National League, probably in all of baseball. Cubs were on a roll. Cubs were winning a lot of games, and doing well also, especially at home, scoring a lot of runs. There was a stat that we had yesterday in one of our chats that about the Cubs, and this is something you could keep in mind and write down. I think it was LJ from H Town who told us this, who came on the in our chat yesterday and told us about the Cubs' first five overs at home have been rocking, and it did again yesterday with no help from the Cubs, by the way. And let's just get back to that game for a minute. I mean, I did real well in that game, and that's not really why I want to talk about it. But it did hit a lot of key areas for me, and it did a little glass problem this morning here. It did hit a lot of key points for me. I did back Max Fried big yesterday, which is something that I have a criteria about backing pitches off of long layoffs, and that fell right into that yesterday. And boy, oh boy, did he come off. What a performance by Max Fried. But the Braves, what did the Braves do? Now, Hendricks has been pitching okay, but the Braves' batting average against him was in the 300. So I know a lot of people are trying to, jump on that Cubs plus money, but, not me. I loved Fried yesterday. I thought the K prop was very low, considering that he's on off a 91 disabled or for 91 layoff. He was on the disabled list for 91 days. And I'll tell you, that's a tough pitcher to back. But a guy like Fried, and why I backed him is a couple of reasons in this. Like we always say, we try to give a tip out on every show. What I've been following for a long time, and it's something maybe that you might want to look into. When these pitchers like Fried, I consider Fried maybe top three pitches arguably in baseball. Even let's say up until his injury. I mean, he was in the top, maybe the top pitcher, 1, 2, 3, Glass now, Fried. There's a couple, and since his layoff, a couple of the vets like Verlander, who's pitching today, has gotten better. A lot of the vets got better, and I have a theory on that I've talked about before. But getting back to this. The Braves are a team that had been coasting. The Braves are a team that did not have to rush back their pitcher. Fried had a long time to get ready, to get as close to game ready as he could. That 5.5 K prop, I ended up. I was right. It was long. We all know I'm not always right, but that 5.5 yesterday, he had a K prop of over 6 on BetUS, but he had a double result over 5 Ks. Plus the Braves win. It was plus 210. I jumped on that when I seen that. And it just fit that criteria. I had a feeling Fried was going to come out and pitch well, and he did. So, that worked out good. Now, the Braves got to Hendricks. They had that big inning, 7th inning, 7 runs, 4th inning. And I did have the under 8, and I'll tell you, luck to win that bet. That's for sure. The Gods gave me one. We always... A lot of those games that we lose, that sometimes like yesterday, I had Baltimore Orioles team total first 5 over 2.5. They scored 2 runs, and then by the end of the game, they just opened it up in the sixth inning on. So it works both ways. But I got lucky with that bet yesterday. The Braves scored 7 runs in that fourth inning and only scored one more run, a single home run in the eighth inning, I believe. And I got lucky and got that under 8. Full disclosure, and like I was talking about with our friend Big Ragu, I was live watching that game the whole time, looking for a way to buy out of that under 8. I thought for sure it was going to go over. If I seen an 8.5, I was gonna. If I seen an 8.5, I was gonna go under, because I was gonna go over and buy out of the bet. That's right. I just looked it up. The total was 9. Yesterday it was 9. If I seen an 8.5, I was gonna buy out, because I felt strongly. And I would have been wrong, and I would have gave back a bet, but I never seen the 8.5. And again, total luck, wrong cap on that game, picking the under. I thought Hendricks was going to hold down the Braves at least a little bit. I didn't think the blow up was going to happen as it did. So that's that. Like I said, I loved Fried. So we got lucky on that game. Then I had the Baltimore Mets, first 5, under 5. That one hit, but I did have Baltimore team total over 2.5, first 5. Those 2 plays, a little bit of a contradictory play. I wasn't too happy when I betting it that way, but I felt a little fortunate again that I split in that game. But last night, Dodgers-Padres, Darvish against Miller. We were going back and forth on this game. Our friend Big Ragu had Darvish in the first 5 for 2.5 units. He's out at the Orleans in Las Vegas, and he hit it right. I bet the under 8.5. I was on the same kind of theory as him, that this was going to be a low-scoring game. I know Bobby Miller has pitched a couple bad starts, but I did think he would pitch better last night. The Dodgers, Padres seem to never, ever beat the Dodgers. The Padres have not won a series against the Dodgers since 2010. The series price last night on BetUS was Dodgers plus 105 and San Diego minus 135 for the series. I toyed back and forth to play the series, and I left it alone. I do play some series bets when it comes to August and September. I did have the Rays against the Yankees last week's series, but I laid off of that one last night. I wish I didn't. So the Padres, as we've seen, won the game. Padres, as we've seen, pitched well. First 5, it was, I believe, still 2-0 game at that point. And like we said, our boy Big Ragu cashed that first 5 under, but that first 5 Padres. But then that was it. The blow-up happened. Padres pen, L.A. Dodgers. Let's see. First 5. San Diego scores 2 in the bottom of the 4th. The Dodgers were up 1-0 in that game. Going into the 6th inning, San Diego scores another one. So it's 3-1. And then top of the 7th, the Dodgers score 1. So now it is 3-2 through 7 innings. The under 8.5 in that game. That's why I was getting confused with the Brave game. The under 8.5 in that game was looking good. And what happens in the 8th inning? Dodgers get 5 runs. 9th inning, Dodgers get 3 runs. San Diego tacks on a useless run at the end. Kind of like what the Mets always do. Tack on those useless runs at the end. And another reason why I call the San Diego Padres the Mets of the West, just because of their underachieving ability. So I lose that bet anyhow. The under 8.5. Still a good day. Plus 1.75 units. We're having a great year so far. I've been working on my record with the team who banging. And as far as this show is concerned, we have 16 shows in the books. And we have a record of 41, 18-7, plus 12 units going into today. My overall record I had to add in last night comes out to 153-98 with 7 pushes, plus 28.75 units. I've been having a good year so far, pretty steady throughout the year. Hasn't been the up and down first half, second half like I've had. So far, so good. We're going to keep on rocking. It's going to be a tough next, 8 weeks or so. I'm going to try to keep my head above water. I was plus 42 units at the end of last year, my highest year. I'm trying to beat that again this year, but at least come close. At best, I don't want to be giving it back. So I'll be, we'll just keep on rocking. We'll see what happens. We all know how this game goes, up and down, right? So the thing is to come out the end with a little more up than down. Good morning, Gerald Jones. Good morning, AOD Jet Zone 9. How you doing, guys? Good to see you. Thanks for coming in, Gerald. Your dad. What was that? Where was that? Your dad's a Met fan since 1968. That's about, I know Mets as well as Baltimore. Yes, may get Broom out this weekend. And a lot of Baltimore Met games over the years. Your dad, I'm not sure how old your dad is, but I'll be 66 next week and in 2 weeks. And I've been a Met fan since, maybe, 8, 9 years old, living out in Long Island. The Mets, all our dads were all Yankee fans, right? So we all wanted to go different and be Met fans. And the funny part is a lot of us turned out to be Met fans, and our parents took us to Met games because they were the cheapest games to go to, especially back in the late 60s in Shea Stadium. And that's really how I became a Met fan because, like all of us my age, we played Little League, and, so we went to games and, my dad always took us to some games and stuff, me and my friends, and it was always great, man. We all of us, we all miss our dads when they're not here anymore. But he got me to be a Met fan, even though he was a Yankee fan. I still have I have on my wall back here, right there, that picture's for him. That's his two favorite players, Mickey Mantle and Joe DiMaggio. So there you go. Little DommyGun Rici history. I hear you, Gerald, trying to play 2 or 3 plays a day. I know I play a lot of volume, especially the first half. Last couple days I've cut down. I've let a day or 2 go. Yesterday I had 4. Well, yesterday I started out with 3 plays, but because I hit that big 210, then I added. But that's kind of how I'm going to do it also. I'm going to try to keep it most days, to try to keep it down to a couple games. I might have a few bets now on different games, but I think the volume needs to start cutting down as far as the way I'm playing and the way I'm betting, just to keep up the plus units. So there's my boy Nut Flush Allen in the house. Good morning, Nut Flush, my man Mike. Good to see you, man. Hope everything is good. Hope the family is good. Nut Flush, OG in the low bag nation, and OG in a handicapping nation. That's for sure. One of the best. What's going to happen with your Giants going forward, man? Mike's a big Giant fan, like I'm a big Met fan, and talk about a team that is hard to figure out. It's those Giants. They've been on some big winning streaks. They've lost some games that no way they should have lost. They do have a team with a lot of ex-Mets on it, I can tell you that. I don't know why they do good after they leave here, but Giants are a tricky team, a lot of tricky teams going forward. We have a lot of good baseball to coming ahead, so it should be good. Okay, let's get to baseball. Let's talk a little bit about baseball. I have no one coming on today, so it's just me. And you know how we do this show. We talk like we're talking on the phone, like we talk in our chats, like we talk when we're in the sports book in Vegas, like we talk in the bar. Not that I'm lucky enough to have any of you close enough to me to talk about these things in the bar. But that's how I do my shows. I'm not on the graphics. I'm not on the, I need someone to do that kind of stuff for me. I'm just here to talk about baseball. Hopefully we have a couple wins. Hopefully together we, you know how we do, right? We cap together. We win together. We lose together. So I agree, Nutflush. I agree, man. They could be worth a small futures bet. Tough. The whole NL West is tough this year. This Dodger Padres series is so big. I know I regress, but I talked about it yesterday. The Padres really, they wanted to make a run. The Padres really need to get over their kryptonite, and that's the Los Angeles Dodgers. So if games like last night are the games that are going to put them I don't see the Padres going too far. Like I compared them to the Mets as far as underachievers. They got better pitch. Obviously now they got a better pitching staff. So does the Syracuse Mets have a better pitching staff right now. But I shouldn't say that. But Padres are just their bats are underachieving all the time. They got the guys, right? They got the bats. They sure as hell got the pitching. They got some good pitching, but look what happened in the pen last night. Look what happened with Darvish after a great outing. So let's go. Atlanta. Let's go with first game up. Houston at the Yankees. Talk about underachieving teams. There you go. We could talk about the Yankees all day long. Verlander's first start back home with the Astros, and I find it a perfect opportunity for him that he's pitching his first game back in his New York uniform, all excited, back with the winners. Dusty Baker said in a quick clip that I heard was he said, "With a man with a heart problem, this is doing me good having Justin back on the team." I agree. This only makes the Astros better. Verlander was one of those veteran pitchers that I talked about that was going to have a hard time in the beginning of the year. That this pitch clock, that the new rules were going to affect them. I know I've talked about this on the show a bunch of times. I talked about it on our at Major League Baseball capping show a couple weeks ago. These guys listen, baseball guys in sports in general, they've had the same routine since maybe junior high, definitely high school, and I can't see, and a guy like Verlander, it's obvious to me that guys like him, I was going to mention Nola, but he stunk it up yesterday, but a lot of the veteran pitchers I thought got better and better as they went into June and July, after they had 10, 12 starts under their arm, and they got adjusted to the new rules and the new clock and all that stuff. Just a little bit of a difference out of your routine could screw you up. Golf is the same way. I mean, every sport is really the same way. And a Verlander who's 41 years old, whatever he is, he's been pitching in baseball for a long time. That had to screw him up. But the last few starts, he's had more than the last few starts. He's pitched well. And at Citi Field in New York, he pitched well. Especially, like I said, his last few starts. And I don't think it's going to be any different today. Like I said, I find it funny that his first start's going to be back in New York. So he took a flight from New York to the Astros and came back to New York. But I think this is going to be another good start by Verlander. I backed him last time on his over outs. It was 16 and a half outs. He I think he went 6 full. I hit that bet. Last time he pitched against the Yankees was on the a rare win by the Mets, 9-3, I believe it was, 9-4, 9-3, something like that. I remember the Mets scored 9 runs, and the reason why I remember that is because that don't happen often, right? But that was on July 25th, 26th. It was the last week of July. It was after the All-Star break. He pitched 6 innings, 6 strikeouts, 2 hits, no runs. His last 3 starts, 1 earned run or less in his last 3 starts. The Astros, the last 30 days. Their team, ISO and OPS, 2 things I really like about him. 2 stats I really like and follow as far as team is concerned. They're both top 5 in Major League Baseball versus lefties. That's the last 30 days. Astros also, last 30 days versus lefties. They got the second best strikeout rate. They're only striking out at a 16.5% rate. The average rate in baseball is around 22, a little over 22%. They only got a less than 17% strikeout rate versus lefties. So they hit the ball. They're good against lefties. And now we got Nestor Cortez back in the fold. I always like Cortez, but he's another pitcher that has underachieved at times. Last year, he sure as hell did. I talked about backing pitchers like a Fried, and I told you why I backed it, which is rare that I would back a pitcher off a 90-day injury. But Cortez is off of a 60-day IL. His first game back. He hasn't pitched since, I guess, like the beginning of June, I guess. And the reason why I'm not backing Cortez off a layoff, because it's against the principles I told you about Fried. Now he's pitching for the Yankees. If Fried was pitching for the Yankees, he would have came back 2 weeks ago, in my opinion. He wouldn't have had a 90 days off. He would have had maybe 75 days off. They would have rushed him back because they needed him. Yeah, like I said before, the Braves don't need Fried. I for sure feel like he had some extra work. He had all the time in the world to be ready to go into the game as much as as much as he could, which he did. But the point being, Cortez is playing for a Yankee team that needs him back. Don't know how much he was rushed back. Don't love him in this start. I think Cortez, maybe a start or two under his arm, is going to have a good September. He's going to have a good rest of the year if he stays healthy. He did have his last start was down in Double-A. He pitched. I remember. I don't even know when it was. I think it was only a few days ago or maybe last week. He went 6 in the third. Just gave up 1 homer. Struck out 9. So he had a pretty good little tune-up start for this, but. All that said and done, I'm on the Astros. What I did was, let me get to my bets here. What I did was that's right. I was going to take them full game, and then the line is going up and up and up. Last I looked, it was minus 140, which is my threshold. I felt that the first 5 was a little safer, so I did take the first 5 minus 125 with the Astros. Also, what I did take, because I do think Nestor has a couple good innings, and I like to keep it away from this, away from the bullpens today. Just the Astros are just so strong. I did take the first 5 under 4.5 minus 115. I also took the full game under 8.5 minus 115. I just play unders when it comes to the Yankees. It's something I've been keeping on. Yes, after the All-Star break, they started hitting they had a good over trend in those 10 games after the All-Star break, but it's getting back down to Yankee baseball. Even though Judge has come back, well, look what happened. Everybody got excited that second game. He blasted that home run. Yankees aren't winning because he's back. So I went with the Astros today, and I took 3 bets on those games. Astros first 5 minus 125. Full game under 8.5 minus 115. First 5 under 4.5 minus 115. Hopefully we get 2 out of those 3. Risky bets, as I know, but what bet is it, right? Big Doc in the house. I always throw in the word new. Let's go do that again. Big Doc in the house from the Orleans in Las Vegas. Up nice and early, sitting in that sports book. Give a hug to Mikey and Avery. I'm sure they're right next to you. It's it's already 7:30 in the morning over there, right? Big Ragu is on the runs today in Let's talk about it. Runs today in New York. And Yanks just seem, I know what you're saying with the over. I thought it was kind of risky, but we're a little bit. I'm trusting Nestor a little bit more than you. We'll see what happens. We're not opposite usually, but hey, I put in 3 bets so we could both have some wins. Like I mentioned before, Big Ragu had a nice little 2.5 unit bet on Yu Darvish with that first 5. And Doc, look what happened in that game, right? I was talking about it before. I had that under 8.5. I thought I was gold after 7, and then that was it, man. Padres again blow a game that they should have won. They should have beat Miller. They should have won that game. But good hit on that yesterday, Mr. Big Ragu. But that's an interesting game. First game on the docket that I bet. What's next here? That was the Yankees. That's at 105. I think I'm going to have I don't think a lot of people are going to agree with me with this game. This was a little bit tricky for me, but I don't like Aaron Savali. I never liked Aaron Savali. I do not understand the trade to him, Tampa taking him. I think Cleveland got rid of him and took in Noah Syndergaard. that's a little something to keep in your mind. And we're going to talk about that game next. But we're going to talk about Tampa Tigers right now. I've always been a Screwball fan. He's done well for us in the past. I remember the man that turned me on to Screwball told me to kind of watch over him. And a guy we haven't seen in a long time, Doc, is Matty Ice. Matt Randall loves great baseball capper. I know he coaches a lot of baseball and stuff over the summer. I'm gonna actually that I mentioned him, and what reminded me about him was Screwball and Scooby, as I like to call him. And so we'll have to reach out to Matt there, Doc. But Savali against Screwball, I don't understand. Like I said, I don't really like Savali. And if you look at his advanced numbers, they're not that great. I mean, yes, 5-2 record. Yes, 2.34 ERA. But he is a lot of things that I look for in pitchers. He is he's fitting that criteria. He has the lowest K rate of his career. He has the highest walk rate of his career. His xFIP is 4.54. That's a pretty big number. I don't know. I don't like them today. I don't like them today. I took a shot with the Tigers plus 130. I like the price. I know Savali has beat the Tigers, but I also have the thing about listen. I'm not a Savali fan. Savali would have pitched today against the White Sox against Kopech if he didn't go to Tampa. Like I said, and Tampa has not been hitting great. Tampa is 27th OPS versus lefties the last 30 days. Let's see. Screwball. On the road, he had two bad starts. One against the Marlins, one against the Royals. At home, no earned runs allowed at home. His last 5 averages 3.5 hits, averaging in his last 5 starts. His last 3 starts at home, he had 2 hits, and 0 hits. I know everybody, I said at the beginning, everybody's going to be against me on this play, and I could be wrong, and I've been hot as hell the last 10 days, so God knows I'm due for a spanking. But I took it the other way. I went with the Tigers plus 130. I have a feeling that the Rays were just too easy to bet on today. Let's see what happens. I'm glad everybody's against me because it's an interesting game. It's an interesting spot. If it wasn't for Savali pitching, I bet I would have went with the Rays if there was another pitcher. It's my personal thing against Savali. Don't like him. And listen, this could be the thing he really needs. Yeah, like I said, he was pitching well against. But why did the Guardians get rid of him when they didn't get back so much for him? That's to me. I don't understand that. I took a shot with the Tigers plus 130. And not for nothing, Tigers been winning some games here and there, and they're just one of those teams I think that could play a little bit of a spoiler this year. Let me see something here. I had something up on them. Let me see if I can get back to that. Tigers are playing for nothing. That's what the Tigers are playing for. Absolutely nothing. Like every year. But that never equates into my capping what a team is playing for or not. You know, I just try to look at how they've been playing and just different situations. I thought, to be honest with you, that this line would be higher. It's still at 130, the Tigers. Tampa minus 145. The under 8 is interesting also. I mean, you would think that if Tampa is going to win, they're going to win big maybe in this game. Even their team total over 4.5. It's juiced to the under. Tigers team total over 3.5 might be interesting too. But let's go to the next game. It's a single bet. This is why I bet 1 unit, or if anything, a half a unit every game. My props are usually half units. But this is why, because I don't like for me the way I handicap. Me adding units on different games, I do rarely. It just don't work for me. That's just me. And like I always say, the way we all cap differently, and a lot of us it works. It works the way that we it works for us in different ways. If I cap the same way someone else does, a lot of times it might not work. Let's get to that. Let's see what happened the last 3. So that's it. That was it for that game. Let's go to that. Okay. How you doing, Craig? Eddie, good to see you, man. Thanks for dropping in. Ricky J on the Rays, -1, -117. I'll leave my rant about the -1 bet alone. No disrespect there, Rick. It's an argument I have with Jimmy the Bag all the time. I think our only disagreement on capping is I'm just not a -1 fan. And I talked about it with Moose Money, and if it works for you, man, that's great. And I understand why you took the -1, but everyone's against me, so we'll see what happens. Doesn't look good for me on that bet. Next game. Chicago White Sox, Mr. Kopech against Noah Syndergaard. Noah Syndergaard, who came out his first start for Cleveland, which another trade I did not understand. Why did they got rid of Savali and got Syndergaard? Why? The pieces that were traded for those players, to me, I didn't warrant. I don't know. I'm confused on it, but maybe they know better than we do. We were all looking to go against Syndergaard that first outing. We were all thinking over. I think I if I remember correctly, I lost that bet on an over. But he came out and pitched a great game. He pitched 5 innings. I think he had like 2 hits, 0 runs. I didn't find the game yet, but okay, here it is. He pitched 5 innings. He had with a 1.69 ERA in that, with a 0.75 WHIP in that game. And what happened was he got hit in the 5th inning. I think it was the 5th. He got hit by a line, or maybe the 6th. He got hit by a line drive in the leg, and it took him out of the game. He was pitching fantastic. That's Noah Syndergaard for you. He could. Listen, he still got the arm. He still got the velocity. The problem with Noah Syndergaard, a guy I know very well, he just gets hurt all the time. Starts pitching well. Everybody, and listen, he's always due for a clunker. He's just a problem for me with Noah is he has the velocity, but he don't have the location. And a lot of times after a few innings, that 3rd time through the order, you got to watch out with Noah. These batters catch on. His release points are pretty easy to pick up. And like I said, his best part of his game is the velocity. And he's just a weak player, man. This guy gets hurt left and right. But he didn't get hurt enough to not be out of this game today. So he's pitching today against one of the worst pitchers, I think, in baseball. And that's Michael Kopech. Is that his first name, Michael Kopech? 4-10 with a 4.49 ERA. Almost a 1.5 WHIP. His last 15 innings he's pitched with a 1-2 record. His last 3 starts. ERA almost 5. A WHIP 1.60, terrible. He did have 12 Ks, but 6 home runs in that last 3. Not good. He's 1-4 in his last 4 starts. All those 4 starts, they lost by more than 2 runs. White Sox aren't beating righties. They're not beating lefties really either. Another team that always seems to have a little bit of. You think they're going to do better than they do. They're always a sexy pick at the beginning of the year. I compare them a lot with the Brewers. They just seem to fall off. They did nothing at the trade deadline. They don't have the pitching. So talk about a team not playing for something. That's the White Sox. I do like Cleveland today. I think Syndergaard might have a pretty good outing. What I did was take them also just in the first 5. Let me see what line that was. -105. I took the Guardians. I took the Guardians' first 5 -0.5. -105. I think the Guardians. I didn't like the line to take them for the full game, but I think Cleveland should easily beat the White Sox today. Cleveland is just a weird team. They're going for it. They're in the mix. I don't think they did enough, obviously, at the trade deadline. But be that as it may, that's the game I took. Let's see what else we got. Braves against the Cubs. We talked about that before. make it simple and easy. I took the Braves -1.5 as a on the run line, a very rare bet that I take. I took that at even money, and listen, the Cubs are pitching Assad. He only pitches 2 or 3 innings a game. I guess they're going to go into the pen. He has not pitched over 4 innings this year. He's averaging 2.1 innings pitched. He has like 10 starts. Like I said, only one time he's gone over 4 innings. There's not much to say about this game. The Cubs, like I talked about before, the Cubs and the Braves, right? 2 of the hottest teams for the last month or so, maybe 2 months, right? And we thought this was going to be a good series. I know a lot of people were thinking the Cubs might be able to make a little bit of a run here. The Cubs do have that division in their grasp. I mean, it's not such a great division to start with, right? So they got the Brewers, who are always up and down. So we don't know what's... And we got Cincinnati Reds, who, after the All-Star break, aren't hitting like the Reds were at the beginning of the All-Star break. Let's see what we could... I mean, let's... Listen. The Braves team total, over 5.5, -120. It's definitely a look, but I just hate taking team totals when it's... I just don't take them. Over 4.5, that's about as far as I'll go in that game, in a team total. But I tell you the truth, I wouldn't mind you taking over 5.5 in that game. Let's see if we can see. What can we tell you about this? Let me see if I can find something on this Cubs here. There was a stat here that was, like I said, they're right there, but the Braves, they're right behind the Braves and the Dodgers. Oh, yeah, the run differential in the National League. The Cubs had the 3rd highest run differential. It was like in the 70s in the National League. The only ones better are the Braves and the Dodgers, but those are the 2 teams in the end you're going to have to beat. But luckily for them, they're not in the same division. Listen to some of these rankings, and these 2 teams do compare in some ways, but the Braves just get the top notch on everything. Runs per game. Cubs are ranked 5th in baseball. Braves ranked 2. Opponents runs per game. Chicago's ranked 16th. Braves ranked 6th. Run differential. Cubs are ranked 5th in all of baseball. I said they were 3rd in the National League. 5th in all of baseball. Braves are number 1. So, on and on. Batting average. Cubs number 8. All great numbers, but the Braves better. Number 2. Hits per game. Number 2, Braves. Home runs per game. Number 1. And so it's just the Cubs are just so much better, the Cubs are just not as, the Braves are just so much better, and they're the team that, listen, of course the Cubs could always win a game, but how do you go against the Braves in any form? It's just tough to go against. I wasn't going to take I just don't bet that way where I'm going to take over a -140. So what I did was take the run line at even money. I thought that was good. I like Bryce Elder. He's not the biggest strikeout guy, but he's a good location guy. He limits home runs. He limits hard contact. A couple things more about the Braves. They're 33-17 away. 70-37 as a favorite. At home, the Cubs are 2 games over 500, 30-28. As an underdog, the Cubs don't fare well, 22-31. So, they do not fare well as far as that. Like I've talked about all year long, non-division road favorites have been hitting and crushing, and it's going to be again today. Elder, 8-2 with a 3.8 ERA. Like I said about Assad, but Assad, again, doesn't pitch long, so that's it. That's what we did. We took the Braves -1.5. What else did... Oh, I did throw an extra bet in. Now, here's another one you guys might not... Royals and Phillies, okay? Everything I could cap, everything I could say about the Phillies is what I would have said about them yesterday, and they lost that game against the Royals. The Royals have been playing good ball. The Royals did this... was it the end of June? It was before the All-Star break. They did a little bit of a run where they beat a bunch of teams. They did beat the Mets in this series. We all jumped on that those games, the Royals against the Mets, the first two games were plus money games that you guys got to be on. That first game I took them only because they were bad. They were pitch that the Mets were pitching the lefty, but and the Mets off this trade deadline. You knew they were going to come out flat. That was a perfect time. Royals sweep the Mets. Before that, they sweep. Did they sweep or they know they won the series against the Twins? So they have been playing well, but they are playing against one of my better, one of the better pitchers that I like and follow. Even though his record isn't that great, I do like Sanchez, and we all don't follow records like that anyhow, especially when it comes to baseball. But let's see where my boy Sanchez is. Sanchez against Marsh. Now, I'll tell you, if it wasn't Marsh, I would have took the Royals in this game today because they have been beating lefties. If you look up their last run of games, they beat a couple good lefties. They've been playing well against lefties overall. And I was going to take them on this game today, but Marsh is just a disaster. 0-5, 6.75 ERA, 1.62 WHIP. Which is for the year. When I look at, and obviously you guys know because I talk about it all the time. Last three starts, 0-3, 14 innings total, 7 ERA, a tick over 7 ERA with a 1.57 WHIP. So he's giving up some home runs there, right? 17 strikeouts, and there's your home run, six home runs. Sanchez, 0-3, so he's not. Phillies can't win for the damn kid, but 2.66 ERA for the year, 0.91 WHIP for the year. He's under that. He's only had. I say for the year like he's had so many starts, but I talk about it again all the time. You see that under 1 WHIP? That's a stat to keep after. His last 3 starts, he had 17 innings pitched, so he's gone pretty deep. His last 3 starts, 1.59 ERA, 0.76. 14 Ks, only 2 homers. So he has pitched well. But like I said, the Royals have hit some lefties. They've hit some lefties that I didn't think they were going to hit. I took the Royals team total. I didn't take them to win. I didn't get crazy like I did with the Tigers. But I took the Royals team total over 3.5, minus 125. That is what I took. So I got a couple strange bets today. We'll see what happens, but listen, stranger things have won, right? So let's go over the plays. Astros first 5, minus 125. Full game under 8.5, minus 115, and first 5 under 4.5, minus 115. That's the Astros. Mr. Verlander against Cortez, coming back with his first start in 60 days to a team that boarded. The Yankees use him, right? Guardians, first 5, minus 105, minus a half, minus 105. Braves run line, 1.5, even money. Royals team total over 3.5, minus 125. And then the Tigers, plus 130. That is what I play. That's what me and Big Ragu, and we've talked about him for last year also. We like that kid on the Royals, man, Brady Singer. He's not pitching today, obviously, but boy, we like that kid. Man, if that kid could get to a team that is in the hunt for that's a pitcher. I mean, I'm sure the Royals don't want to give him up, but boy, if that's a guy I would go after if he was available, because I think if they could get that kid get off the Royals, he has a shot at doing some damage for a team that's in contention. So just a little afterthought. So that's our Saturday plays. I think maybe we're gonna see who's around for tomorrow. If I get some guests together tomorrow, I'll come on and do a couple plays. We got a lot of things going on at Who Bangin' Sports. Like I said, for the month of August, I'll take the Thursdays off. I could use them, and but this is our 17th show, starting in week 11. Soon as September starts, that first week in September, I will be back with the Thursday shows, and we'll do 2 a week, and we'll try to fit another one in as we get closer and closer to the end of the season. It's going to be a great end of the season. It's going to be a great August, great September. I'm looking forward to it. I know everybody's chomping at the bit because it's football season. And I know all our guys, Team Who Banging, they're all chomping at the bit. Football, football, football. I'm not ready. I'm not ready to give up this MLB season. I love my football like all of us, but not like MLB for me. And those first 3 or 4 weeks in NFL for me, I usually I'm still in the getting into the NFL mode because I'm figuring out how to split the capping. Because the bottom line is because I'm lucky enough that I do well in baseball and I don't do well in the NFL. I like to. I don't want to take away from my capping, and that's just part of my theory. And I keep at it with MLB. And I'll be honest with you, it's a reason why that I'm not and I'm asked all the time that I'm not present on live shows because I have too many bets going during the day. I don't want to give back because I'm on a live show, and I don't want to give back, making plays that I shouldn't have been making, things like that. So I've been staying away from the live shows. To be honest with you, the way most of the live shows are conducted, it kind of feel like they're trying to force you into making bets. Like the people that are on the show, they're just looking for reasons to bet, not looking for opportunities, but just looking for reasons to bet. That's the way I feel, and not because he's one of my friends, and not because he's part of our team at Who Bangin', but the way IKX Nizzle does it. With his live sweat, to me, is the way you got to do it. He does it more as a fun thing, more as a group thing. Get the guys together, talk a little baseball, talk about all. They talk about all different sports. They'll even start capping different sports as they're doing baseball. But it's more of a fun thing. It's more as a let's throw a couple small bets in maybe And when I do, even when I do the live bets, I'm usually doing a half unit, things like that, But I like the way he does it for that reason because he keeps it fun. And just my little theory about live betting and live betting shows. You got to be careful. You go on these live betting shows and, like I said, you kind of get forced into betting. Everybody's looking for a reason to bet. Listen, in the long run, that'll chop you down, man. In the long run, that'll chop you down. First Thursday in September will be September 7th. So that's when we'll start back to Thursday shows. But shout out to everybody for coming on, man. I could talk baseball all day. I could ramble and gamble all day. But I love you guys, and it means a lot. Even if one person comes into the show, it means a lot for me. So I appreciate it. Big Ragu 62. Let's see. Yo, D. Rick J. Craig Wood. Let's see. Nut Flush Allen. Gerald Jones. Thank you guys for coming in. Gerald, give a shout out to your Jetson 9. Gerald, give a shout out to your dad. Tell him I said hello to a fellow Met fans. Tell him we live and die with the Mets, and maybe we'll get a championship before we die. But anyhow, on that, I'll get out of here. Thank you guys for showing up. Like I said, if I get some guests together for tomorrow, we'll do something around 11 a.m. my time, New York time. If you can't tell that I'm in New York, we'll get something together, but only if I get some guests together. On an impromptu show on a Sunday, we will do that. Maybe I can see if we can get our boy Tease if he's doing WNBA tomorrow, or if he wants to come on and do it with me with baseball, we could do that. But keep your eye on Who Bangin'. We got the college football starting up very soon. We got the Boss and the Sauce back again. 6 years or so running. Longest low bag show that's on the same channel. Same show. Boss and the Sauce, Big Ragu, and DJ Big Boss. We got some UFC stuff coming up in the next few weeks. Something that's new for us at Who Bangin'. We got our live sweat still on Tuesday nights with Ix Nizzle. And we'll be doing some NFL stuff, obviously, also besides NCAA. We'll be doing some Thursday nights. We'll be doing a lot of things. We'll be getting a Sunday show together for Sunday mornings. We're going to hit it all this year. We're going to keep it going, keep growing, Who Bangin'. So, until then, thank you, everybody, for coming in. DommyGun Rici For Team Who Bangin', I will see you next Saturday.